You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Modestas Bukauskas takes on Raffael Cerqueira this Saturday on UFC Fight Night Seattle, Washington. This fight takes place at 205 pounds. Kind of two guys who fly under the radar a little bit. Modestas Bukauskas, a lot of experience taking on Cerqueira, coming back into the UFC since his last loss, where he had a absolutely terrible showing against Ibo Aslan, who also fights on this card. But Modestas Bukauskas, this is going to be his second stint in the UFC. Originally came in back in 2020, won his first fight, then lost 3 in a row. Lost to Jimmy Crute, Mikhail Olachechuk, and Khalil Roundtree Jr. So it's like I can excuse those losses. Those guys are pretty good, top 15 people in the UFC. Went back to Cage Warriors, got a couple wins, came back to the UFC, beat Tyson Pedro, Zach Pauga, lost to Vitor Petrino, and recently coming off of a win over Marcin Prachnio. So he's 16-6, 31 years old, 6'3", with a 78-inch reach. So very good striker, solid movement, pretty technical with good leg kicks. Will grapple. His last fight, he was shooting takedowns and got some good takedowns against Marcin Prachnio. Ended up getting an arm triangle choke, kind of a weird arm triangle choke. Didn't even get over to the other side to finish the choke the proper way, but was still able to force the tap. Before that, a lot of decisions, finishes via strikes, but also has a couple rear naked chokes back in the day in Cage Warriors. So very good fighter, will mix it up, very well rounded. Like I said, has some really good wins, and the guys that he's losing to aren't absolutely awful. I can't say the same for Raffael Cerqueira. Fighting out of Brazil, made his debut against Ibo Aslan in his last fight, which is only back in October, where, you know, within 20-30 seconds into the fight, he takes a jab. I wouldn't even say it was a strong jab, kind of wobbles him back to the fence. Ibo Aslan just gets in front of him, starts throwing big hooks left and rights. Didn't really do anything to get out of there, wasn't firing back, wasn't moving, just kind of covered up against the cage and waited for the ref to step in. It was very frustrating to watch because this guy is supposed to be a devastating striker coming off the regional scene. I had picked him to win that fight against Aslan, so that made it even more frustrating. But you look at his wins on the regional scene: 1-1, 4-1, 0-1, 9-7, 17-9, 10-6, 4-1. Like, not the best competition. It's like, if you're an undefeated fighter and you're 12-0, why are you fighting somebody who's 1-1 or 4-1 or 0-1? You know what I mean? So most recently fought a guy, Rodrigo Araujo, who's 6-3, now 6-4, hasn't fought since then, is 39 years old. So not sure what happened. He might have taken his last fight on short notice, but even then, you accepted the fight. I expect a better performance out of you. So I'm going to go with Modestas Bukauskas. He's just the more proven guy. He's fought such better competition just in Cage Warriors alone, not even counting the UFC. It's just there's such better high-level promotions compared to these regional ones that Cerqueira has been a part of. A lot of high-level experience, like I said, fighting Marcin Prachnio, Vitor Petrino, Tyson Pedro, Khalil Roundtree, Olachechuk. These are really good guys. And even in Cage Warriors, before he even got to the UFC, he's fighting 8-1s, 5-0s, 11-6s, some really bad ones, and also some not very good losses back in the day, losing to a 5-11 right after losing to a guy who was 15-3. So I just trust Bukauskas. He's going to be as big, maybe a little bigger than Cerqueira. I trust his chin. He was getting hurt by Marcin Prachnio in the last fight. Took a head kick flush, was hurt in the third round, was able to rally, get the takedown, and get the sub. So I trust him to be able to take the power from Cerqueira. I don't trust Cerqueira to come in and put on a better performance than the last time, because we haven't seen anything like that from him. We haven't seen him fight somebody as good as Bukauskas. He hasn't gone really out of the second round in his entire career. A lot of first round finishes, one decision that I can see in his entire career. The rest are, first and second round finishes, and I think it's going to be hard to get Bukauskas out of there. So I think Bukauskas gets this done. I think he'll beat him up on the feet. I think he'll win this fight wherever it goes. I don't think he'll get a finish. Again, I don't really know how good Cerqueira is. I don't know how tough he is. I don't know. There's still just a lot to be determined about the guy, and because of that, I can't go with him, especially after his last performance and knowing how good Bukauskas is. So Bukauskas is a -325 favorite. Cerqueira, plus 260. He does have a jiu-jitsu black belt. Couldn't really find any information on Bukauskas, but I do know he's got decent grappling. He's got some legit wins, and does a lot of really good grappling in his fights, so I can't imagine he would get outworked there. But Cerqueira looks like more of a knockout artist, one of those Brazilian guys with a black belt, but doesn't really tend to use it. Really looks to get the finish on the feet. So I'm gonna go with Bukauskas to win this one. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.